Welcome to this tutorial on using DesignSpec Sync with Autodesk Revit. This powerful add-in allows you to synchronize your product specifications between DesignSpec and Revit, saving you time and ensuring consistency across your project documentation. Before we begin, make sure you have already created your project in DesignSpec. You'll need this project ready to sync with your Revit model. Let's get started with the sync process. First, open your project in Revit. Next, locate and launch the DesignSpec Sync add-in from the Add-ins tab in the Revit ribbon. When prompted, sign in to your DesignSpec account using your credentials. You'll need to select which direction you want to sync your data. You can either sync from Revit to DesignSpec, which updates your specification platform with information from your Revit model, or sync from DesignSpec to Revit, which brings your specifications into your Revit model. For this tutorial, we'll first explore syncing from Revit to DesignSpec, and then we'll cover the reverse direction. After selecting Revit to DesignSpec, your first step is to link your project. From the drop-down menu, select the DesignSpec project you want to sync with your Revit model. Next, we'll map the Revit product family parameters to DesignSpec attributes. In this screen, you can search for specific product family parameters using the search bar. To save time, you can click Reset Mapping to automatically match DesignSpec attributes to product family parameters where the names are similar. If you need a DesignSpec attribute that doesn't exist yet, you can create new attributes right from this interface. Now we'll map Revit rooms to DesignSpec areas. You can search for specific Revit rooms using the search function. If needed, you can create new areas or sub-areas in DesignSpec directly from this interface. In the Sync tab, you'll configure which product families will be included in the synchronization. Click the plus icon next to a category to expand it and view all the product families within that category. Select the checkbox next to each product family you want to include in the sync. For each product family, you must choose a specification type from the drop-down menu. If you want to apply the same spec type to all families in a category, you can select it at the category level. The interface will highlight any rows missing a spec type, making it easy to identify items that need your attention. You can search for products by their description or type mark, and filter results to show only map, unmapped, or items missing a spec type. If you click on a product family, you can view any discrepancies between the data in Revit and DesignSpec. When syncing from Revit to DesignSpec, the following data will be transferred. This includes quantity, architectural information, category, FFE details, shipping cost, spec stage, notes, website, vendor information, manufacturer details, parameters, and Revit room associations. It's important to note that type mark and description fields will not be updated during the sync to preserve your specification integrity. If the total area quantity doesn't match the Revit product quantity, DesignSpec will create areas with no quantity and record the quantity in the general field. Now, let's look at syncing from DesignSpec to Revit. After selecting DesignSpec to Revit, choose the DesignSpec project you want to sync with your Revit model. Next, map DesignSpec attributes to Revit parameters. If a required parameter doesn't exist in Revit, you can add a shared project parameter directly from this interface. In the Sync tab, you'll see all specifications that can be synced to Revit. For a specification to sync to Revit, a matching product family with the same type mark must already exist in your Revit model. Click on an attribute to view the DesignSpec to Revit fields available for sync. Check the box next to each attribute you want to sync to the corresponding Revit product. When syncing from DesignSpec to Revit, the following data can be transferred. This includes architectural information, category, FFE details, furnished/installed by information, shipping cost, spec stage, summary notes, website, vendor details, manufacturer information, and map parameters or attributes. As long as the data can be converted into the appropriate Revit data type, the sync process will function without issues. And that's it. You've now learned how to use the DesignSpec Sync add-in to maintain consistency between your Revit models and DesignSpec specifications. Remember, this two-way synchronization helps ensure your design and documentation stay aligned throughout your project lifecycle. Thank you for watching this tutorial.